Yo, what's good with y'all? In today's video, I got the how to make a One Piece game slash how to make blocks. Well, this is really blocks fruits, but anyway, we're gonna just call it how to make blocks fruits part 2. This is featuring the stats system and stuff. I'll be adding in the stat system, whatnot. I plan to do combat in part 3, like actually making it so abilities can actually be used. But yeah, but this is gonna cover stats and stuff. Yeah. So if you guys want a part 3, show this video lots of love, leave a like, subscribe, and then I got you with a part 3. So let me know in the comments as well. Anything you guys want to see in part 3 in particular and stuff, or any just generally future parts. But anyway, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Okay, so if you didn't watch part 1, go watch part 1 of how to make block fruits. How to make block fruits part 1. Go watch that first, because as you can see, we have a whole bunch of stuff already set up, scripts, UI, stuff set up. You have to go watch part 1. This is for people who watched part 1 already. And if you watched part 1, let's go ahead and get straight into it. Okay, so as you can see, everything is the same as, the way we left it. This is, you guys remember, everything looks familiar. We're going to be adding in a couple things and stuff, right? So first things first, let's make the UI changes, okay, right? We're going to need to add stats UI, right? And then a menu button as well. So obviously I modeled it off of Blox fruits, right? So we're gonna go into the core GUI. Now inside of the core frame, we're going to insert a text button, right? We're gonna insert the text button, and then we want to drag this text button like kind of high, because keep in mind, remember that we have our level and where is it? Level and cache and all that stuff right there. So we want to drag it a little bit up here, and then once you've done that, you want to go ahead and rename this button to menu button. And then you want to do some customization to it, right? The colors and everything and all that, font and all that. It's up to you guys. This is what I'm gonna go with: bold, scale text, rich text. I'm gonna set the text to menu by default, right? And then I'm gonna give it a little border, right? Then I'm going to duplicate this, so Control D, right? Oh, sorry, actually, hold on, sorry, delete that. I actually want to make the button a little smaller, actually, because the buttons were actually a little too big. Make it like yeah, like 150, like 150, 125, right? So I'm gonna make the button like that, right? So once you've done that, right, you're then, so this 42, yeah, we can do it like that. Anyway, so yeah, so once you have your button, you're gonna duplicate it, Control D, while having it selected. You can either drag it to the side, or you can drag it above. The way Bloxfruit does it is they have one button up here, another up here, and another right here. So I'm gonna just put mine above it, right? So with this button, you're going to name this stats button, right? You're gonna name that stats button, and then of course you're gonna change the text. You're gonna set the text to stats, right? But we want to make it to where we click the menu button to open the stats button. To make the stats button visible. So by default, we're going to set the stats button visibility to false, right? We do not want it to be visible. We do, however, want the menu button to be visible. Just like that, we are done with the core frame. Now what we're going to do is we're going to insert another frame into the core GUI. This frame is going to be called stats frame. We can drag it to the middle of the screen. We can increase the size, make it like 300, make it like by 300 by 300 maybe, something like that, like 300, yeah, 300 by 300, right? And then what we can do is we can make the background, I'm gonna make the background all black, boom, right? We're going to need a header, right? So first things first, let's take care of that. We're gonna insert a text label. We're gonna of course put it at the top, and then you're gonna name this header text label, right? And then I'm going to set the background transparency to 1. Let's go down to the text, bold text, scale text, rich text. I'm gonna set the text to stat, set the text color to white, boom, right? And then just like that, I'm done with the text label, right? Then we're going to need to, let's first create, let's not have the text labels and then get the buttons. Okay, so let's do it like this, right? So we're going to duplicate this. So Control D, right? And then I'm gonna like drag it over. And then you want to rename this to melee. So I'm only gonna do 2 stats. I'm gonna start off with just 2 stats, right? You can add as much as you want, but I'm just starting off with 2 so far. So I'm gonna do melee and blocks fruit, right? Or like blocks fruit, another word for like the devil fruit. However strong your devil fruit abilities are, or how much damage they do, I should say. So I'm obviously gonna decrease the size because there's no reason for it to be this wide, right? So yeah, that's better. So I'm gonna put it right there in the corner. I'm gonna change the text color So I think it was like this. Yeah, it was like this color. It's like a bright pink, whatnot. Or was it more of like a dark pink? It was more like, yeah, it was more like that, right? So I'm gonna do that, right? And then of course we're going to rename this text label to melee text label. Naming is very important here. Naming is very important. So you want to keep it consistent. So melee text label, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this control D, drag it under it, and then we're going to rename this to Blox fruit text label, right? And then of course you're going to set the text to Blox fruit. I'm going to change the text color to a nice purple. Boom, boom, right? Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this once again, control D. I'm going to drag it down here, right? And then this time I'm going to set the text to available point, colon, boom, right? And then I'm going to set the text color to white. And then of course I can obviously increase the size on this. So we can set it to like 200. Yeah, we can set it to like 200. Maybe like 2, or yeah, no. 200 was good. Yeah, so you can increase the size there, put it at the bottom, right? Then I'm going to duplicate it again, control D. I'm going to drag it up here. And then I'm going to make this way smaller. It's like 50. And then you're going to set the text to L. You're going to set it to LV dot space. Well, yeah, we don't need to put a value. So just put LV dot, right? This is obviously short for level, right? So once you've done that, you're going to duplicate that again. And then you're going to drag it under, but really move it like probably, yeah, give it some space so you could really, you could really see. So like, yeah, like right there. So then of course you want to rename them. So you want to rename this, you simply just want to add level. So this is the melee. So we're going to do melee level. We're just going to call this melee. We're going to call this melee level text label, right? And then I'm going to rename this to Blox fruit level text label, right? Boom. Now all we got to do is just add our buttons, right? So why does this look? I swear I could be tripping. I swear it just looks. I guess because it's just more. I guess because it's more words. Huh. I don't know. It just. I swear it just does not look. It just doesn't look as scaled. It's like this. That's where these two just look. I don't know if it's maybe just because it's like less words. Like if I just put blocks. Yeah, that's why. Okay, I see. Well, anyway, I got distracted. Anyway, so we're then going to insert our buttons, right? This is the last thing we're going to do with the UI, right? So I'm going to insert a text button, right? And I'm gonna drag it over here. We're gonna need to make it way smaller. So like let's try 50, right? And then we're going to bold, you already know bold, rich text, scale text. We're just use the text to plus sign. This how we're gonna add our stats. So I'm going to set the background transparency to 1. We can rename this to whatever the stat name increase button. So for this, it'll be melee increase button. Remember, as I mentioned multiple times, naming is very important. I suggest you guys just name it the same things I've named it, exactly as I've named it. Some set the text color to yellow, boom, and then I'm gonna put it all the way in the corner, and boom, just like that. I'm done with that. I'm gonna duplicate this, drag it down, boom. Then all I gotta do is just rename it. Rename the melee to Blox fruit increase button, right? And boom, just like that, guys, we are done with the UI. We've created 2 stats that we can increase our available points, stats header, the level display for each thing, and our increaser and stuff like that. So yeah, just like that, we are done. Now we can get into actual scripting. One last thing, we need to set the stats frame to not visible. So just do it like that. We're then going to open up the core script, the local version, right? And then we're going to add some things. So let's go here, enter. Now we're gonna add some things to update. Of course, we're gonna want to update we're gonna want to update every stat under this one event. So I'm gonna also update the however many points we have, like the available points, as well as the melee level and the Blox food level, right? So I'm gonna say core GUI dot stats frame dot available points dot available point. Um, wait, I'm confused. Why is it not? I knew there was something. Okay, wait, hold on. I forgot to name something. I had a feeling. I'm like, I swear I forgot to rename something. Oh, okay. Make sure you name this available point six level. I forgot to, but make sure you definitely. I knew I forgot to do something. I don't know. I had a feeling. Okay, there we go. I should be good now. Okay. So yeah, available point six label dot text, right, is equal to, in quotation marks, you're gonna put available points, colon, space, dot. Then you're gonna say player dot stats dot available points. We're gonna create this on the server side dot value. Boom, right? And then you can really copy and paste this. Control C, Control V, boom, right? Then we're just gonna change this. So you're gonna change this to melee text label. You're going to delete this part, and then you're just gonna set LV dot, keep a space, and then you're gonna set this to melee level, right? Then we can just override this Control C, Control V because it makes it easier in my opinion. Then I'm gonna set this to Blox fruit. Make sure you're doing the right one. So this is Blox fruit level text label. Make sure you're doing. Oh, I actually did that wrong. Actually, sorry. Melee level. Make sure you're doing level to be specific. They do look alike. So make sure you do level, right? So once you've done that, we're gonna change this to Blox fruit level, and boom, just like that, we are done updating that if statement. Now we can get into the addition of our new functions. Okay, so we're gonna say core GUI dot core frame dot menu button dot mouse button one click connect function, close parentheses, enter. This is to open the menu, obviously. So I'm gonna say if core GUI dot core frame dot menu button dot text is equal to, in quotation marks, menu, enter. You're gonna copy and paste this, just Control C, Control V. Then we're going to delete an equal sign, and then in quotation marks, you're going to put close. And then we're going to turn it into a close button. It serves as both an open and close button. Then I'm going to say core GUI dot core frame dot stats button dot visible is equal to true. Stuff, and whatever other menu buttons you would have here and stuff. I only added stats, but if you have other stuff, then yeah, you would throw it there. Now I'm gonna say else, and then I'm gonna copy and paste all this. So just Control C, Control V, boom. Then you're gonna just switch things around. Change that to close, change this to menu, and set this to false. Right. So boom. And just see that we're done with that function. On to the second to last function. Then we can move on. We're gonna say core GUI dot core frame dot stats button dot mouse button one click connect function, right? Close parentheses, enter. And then for this, you're simply going to say let's see, how do I do this? Yeah, let me save myself the time. So I'm gonna okay, so I'm thinking like this. The way update works, it updates whenever a value is changed. So I think honestly, it updates whenever a value is changed. So it's like it should update it regardless, but I'm just gonna include all this. So we're gonna just copy and paste all this. So just Control C, Control V. We're just gonna include all this just for the sake, just as a way to double check stuff, just to ensure that it's displaying the correct information. So we're just going to paste all that, and then once we're done, we are going to make the stats frame visible. So core GUI dot stats frame dot visible is equal to true, right? Or sorry, not is equal to true, is equal to not. Equal to not. We want to do the opposite. So boom. So not, yeah. There we go. Right. Then onto the last function, I'm going to say for IV in pairs for GUI dot stats frame get children introduced. If V is a text button, enter. You're going to say V dot mouse button one click connect to function, right? Close parentheses, enter. You're going to say core event fire server. In quotation marks, you're going to put stat increase, right? Because we're increasing stats, then comma V dot name. So the name of the text. But this is why I said naming is very, very important. Now we're going to move on to the server script. We finish all the changes on the local script. We're going to move to the server script side to create all these values and stuff, make it so that they all save, they all load, and also the stat increase. Okay. So if we go up here, right? So enter, we can really copy and paste this. Let's copy and paste this. So Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. So we need to do that 3 times, right? So we're going to do this. So first things first, let's set up available points. We're going to say available points. Obviously, this is going to be a number value, and then you want to parent this to the stats folder, right? Then make sure you have the name, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V. Boom, right? And then by default, usually most games is like 3 or 5, or however much you want to set your start your players off with, but that's what I'm gonna go with for me. Then moving on, we have our melee level, so melee level, right? And then boom, Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, change this to a number value, compare it to the stats folder, right? And then by default, that should be 0, right? And then lastly, we're gonna do the same thing, Blox fruit level, then Control C, Control V, Control V, Control V, number value, parent it to the stats folder, and then by default 0, right? Well, just like that, we have set up our values. Then we can go here and add them to the data loading process. We're gonna say available points dot values equal to data regular parentheses 9. Then we're gonna say melee. We're gonna say melee level dot values equal to data regular brackets 10. Then Blox fruit level dot value is equal to data regular brackets 11, right? And then we can simply just copy and paste all that. So Control C, come down here and Control V, boom, right? And then just like that, we've updated it there. So then now we can we want to update it in the while not success loop as well. Then we go ahead and add it to data save because we just updated data loading. So then I'm going to say table dot insert data table comma player dot stats dot available points, right? That value, then you can really copy and paste this. So you control C, Control V, Control V, boom. Then you want to update this to melee level, and then Blox fruit level, right? Then you want to just you could really just take the last 3. So Control C, Control V, boom, paste that right there. Then we just go down onto the last thing we gotta do now, right? So then I'm gonna add the second event. So you can really click this arrow, say enter. Else, if event type is equal to in quotation marks, you're going to say stat increase or stat update, whichever one you prefer. We're going to create a variable. We're going to say local stat is equal to string dot split. This is why I said naming is very important. So arg1, because we sent over the name of the text button, or sorry, not name text button, the name of oh yeah, the name of text button. Yeah, I'm sorry, name of text button, right? Then in quotation mark, you're gonna put increase button, right? Because keep in mind, we look at the UI, right? You see how it says melee increase button. The name of the stat is melee, so or the name of the stat is melee level. But we just want that whatever the name of the stat is, the basic name of the stat, right? So we need to get rid of the increase button part and just take the melee part, and then we're gonna add on the word level at the end. So once we've created that variable, we're then going to string dot split, right? We're gonna go on the outside of those parentheses because this gives you a table. So you need regular brackets 1, right? Because we want the first value and stuff, which is it split. So then we're gonna say if player dot stats, if you do stats plural, not stat, that available points, that value, we need to make sure the player has points to spend is greater than 0. And then we can really just copy and paste this. Control C, Control V, then just do less than equal 1, so it takes away a point. Then do player.stats. We're going to search the stats folder, regular brackets. Then I'm going to say stats, in quotation marks, put level, right? Then on the outside, you're going to say dot value is plus equal 1, right? Then lastly, we're going to say core event fire client, singular, player, comma, in quotation marks, update. So it knows to update, right? So yeah, let's go ahead and test this to make sure this works. As always, if you guys want access to any one of my scripts or models, you guys can become either a channel member or a Discord subscriber. Link to either one of those options can be found in the description. So yeah, definitely would recommend you guys check that out. Thank you for all the love and support, y'all. By the way, I'm almost to 7,000 subs. Okay, so if we open, let's make sure no errors in the output. Okay. So we're looking good so far. So if I open up the thing, okay, we have our available points, we have our melee level, and we have our Blox fruit level, right? So, oh, the reason it's like that, I think, is yeah, okay. So the reason mine is at 2 and 1 is because I was testing beforehand, right? So let me set this to 0. So the reason it's like that, like I said, is because I was originally testing. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna set my available point to 3, and then I'm gonna set my melee level and blocks for level 2 0. This is me testing prior to it. Okay, so first thing first, let's test to make sure the menu button works. Okay, so menu, as you guys can see, it opens, close, and if I press the stop button, boom, we can open and close the menu. Right? We have our stats menu. Okay, so we have 3 available points, as you guys can see right here. If I click the plus icon, boom, I increased my level. My available points decreased. My available points decreased here as well. My melee level increased. Then blocks fruit, boom, my blocks fruit level increased as well. And then boom, melee went up to level 2, and boom. So let's see. So if I try to increase, I cannot increase because I need to have what's it called? I need to have, available points. Now let's go ahead and test to make sure that data saving works, just to ensure that. I just want to double check just to make sure. So I'm going to switch to the server side. I'm going to delete my player stuff, give the server a second to make sure it's saved. I'm going to stop, and then I'm going to click play, and let's see. I think it should be 2 and 1, I believe. Let's see. There we go. My stats save. Yeah. So this is part 2 of how to make Blox fruits and stuff. You guys enjoyed. Like I said, part 3 with future combat and stuff. I got y'all with a part 3. All I need y'all to do is just show lots of love on the video and stuff. Like stuff. Let me know in the comments what you guys want a part 3, and I got y'all for sure. Thank you for all the love and support I've shown. If you enjoyed the video, definitely leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.